I wanted to present this video. I think it would be good for a first episode that we could actually learn something from the history of cats. So I called this presentation "How to Become a Viral Star."
Oh, thank God! I need this.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be good for us because I think the story of cats is a very good story of how you become a viral sensation. So cats started 10 million years ago. The sort of feline breed sort of evolved. The original cats.
The line,
yeah. That was 10 million years ago. And the thing about cats then is they had 0 subscribers, 0 followers, and no one to smash that like button. You can see that here. No likes, no dislikes, nothing.
But to be fair to them, that was a good number for those days.
Oh yeah, great numbers for those days.
Yeah. Now that doesn't do you very good, but
like. The thing is, it really very quickly it stopped being good numbers because what happened was dogs came around, and dogs were kind of like the first viral sensation because humans were hunter gatherers. We could use dogs. Dogs were pack animals. They were very, very good for humans. So dogs had been around for a very, very long time and sort of interacting with humans. But cats were just kind of nobodies for millions of years until 12,000 years ago. Old friend agriculture shows up. And we're going to specifically go to Mesopotamia. We're going to go to the Fertile Crescent. So this right here.
I remember all this stuff. You're getting me now. I know. These are my 2 things I know.
Cuneiform. Right?
Cuneiform, land between 2 rivers, I think.
There we go.
Yeah.
So what happened is we started making these sort of big holes to put a bunch of food in because we were producing more food than we needed. And we would put them in big pots. And we would put them in holes because humans.
Yeah. I like this breakthrough in technology. Was like, guys,
holes.
What if we made a hole?
Yeah. What about a hole?
What about a hole?
Guys, here's our problem. Every time we try to put food in the ground, it just bounces off the ground.
Yeah.
Can we make the ground lower?
Exactly. But the problem with that is it attracted rats and mice.
Famous hole dwellers.
Right, famous hole dwellers. Here's the thing: you put food in a hole, you're gonna get some mice. We all know that. That's a fact, right?
We all know that.
Yeah.
Well, but rats are also good. Here's okay. Look, this besides the plague,
good for
cute as hell.
No, yeah, but
okay. Look, we're gonna talk about cute animals
friendly.
And so friendly. I think. Okay, look, this is one of my hottest takes. Rats fucking rule. That's my take. I think rats are amazing. They're super cute. When I see a rat in the subway, I'm like, hey, little guy. That's it. I'm not mad.
I always try and see where they're going so I can come with them.
The only thing,
room for one more.
Yeah, I like that. The other thing, although I don't know if you've seen this in New York, Hunter, in LA, what happens? There are rats in the subways. There are also mice in the subways, and I don't know if you know this. A rat will eat the shit out of a mouse.
Oh yeah.
In front of you.
And so you're anti-mouse then and pro-rat?
Nope, big pro-mouse. I think they should get along ideally.
Oh, you like them all.
They can probably help each other, but they're just not exploring that possibility.
Exactly. They should. They have more in common than they have apart, I think. I've been trying to get my wife to let me adopt a rat for the last week, and it's not working so far, but I want to get a little overweight rat named Mr. Chubbins, and I want to have him sit on my shoulder sometimes while he's working, and then I also want him to predict the weather. This came out of me being mad about the groundhog. Like, why do we only ask an animal about the weather once a year when
it's a great bit? It's like stuffing, right? It's like we should have stuffing more times during the year.
Yeah,
I agree with both of these takes.
Yeah, I mean, I think, sort of the biggest issue we're sort of having here is that we're very much looking at animals through the sort of modern lens. I really want us to get into the mindscape of these were people who only had kids so they could put them to work, right?
Right, sure.
These were the idea of pets is a very relatively new concept that we'll get to. So, at this point, we're not thinking of rats as possible pets. We're thinking of them as something that eat your food, shit in your food, spread disease, right?
Yeah,
I don't want the poop part. That's true.
And at this point,
I don't want the poop part either, but they could be a little more laissez-faire about it. Jesus, you only live once.
I mean, look, I didn't dig this whole hole just to feed rats.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Maybe you did though. Why not have a little hole, like 2 holes, one for the people, one for the rats?
This is like those videos where people are like, the cat kept walking on my keyboard, so I gave him his own little keyboard. Give the rats their own little hole next to the food hole.
It's kind of
they won't
tribute.
bother your food.
It's kind of like you worship the rats now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The problem with that is you're just gonna end up with 2 rat holes, and then you gotta dig a third one, and then you're gonna end up with 3 rat holes, and it
that's
just
your new job. Just
Look,
digging rat
whatever
holes. You have to have kids to dig rat holes now.
So actually, it's funny because we're sitting there trying to brainstorm, and humans didn't even actually figure out what they did. What happens is cats just showed up because that's where the food was, right?
Oh, you dig a rat hole, cats show up.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
The first mousetrap was very accidental.
Yes, exactly. It was just a cat showed up. They were good at hunting rats, hunting mice. They were good at attacking snakes, poisonous snakes. Cats, and this got them a few likes, right? This started their viral sensation. And the thing, what happens next is cats, start to get some good word of mouth to them. They start to spread. And what happens is the cats hit the road. And by the road, I mean the sea. Because of their sort of like use as labor and as pest control, they become very, very popular for sailors because boats have rats, right?
What is a boat but a floating rat hole?
Exactly. And not just that. You know what also rats love besides shitting in your food and then eating the non-shitting food is they love chewing through ropes. And ropes was so important to old boats. They're still important to boats. Ropes and boats, name a more iconic pair, right?
Yeah. That's how you start the engine. You need a rope to go.
But so because of this, cats become they become this like thing that all boats have, right? A lot of boats have cats in them. And this is something like you can go out through history. There's a great story of this one cat during World War I who was in 3 sunk ships and survived all of them, and then ended up being like a British naval hero and retiring at a naval retirement home.
There's a great subgenre of stories that are like animals who got war medals.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that is definitely a good one. Yeah. Good job. Yeah. War hero cats.
As you can see now, they're starting to get some retweets. They're starting to get some favorites. Cats are kind of taking off. And as they spread over the world, they have their first viral hit. They go viral in a way that very, very few people do. And by that, I mean they become gods in Egypt, right? Which is really the most viral you could possibly go, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. Very viral.
As you can see, millions of followers and likes at this point. They had good word of mouth. They were starting to get kind of famous. They were having a good career. But then, of course, what happens to every up-and-coming viral star, you guys?
Oh, we find out they're racist?
They get canceled. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Milkshake
here, 19 million dislikes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring you now to the dark ages where cats got canceled.
What did they do?
So they were
witches.
The devil. Yes.
Yeah.
Witches.
So this was a big thing. It's really funny that throughout history, cats have been canceled multiple times. And it's always due to their relation with Satan and witchcraft. And
I should be clear though, although cats were canceled, they still win Grammys. They're still selling out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
where are they going to go?
They're very popular.
That's just a thing somebody said, but then
it's
they're
more
doing
like
fine.
They just had like a bad PR phase. Like it's not real. It didn't stick.
No.
I mean, like black cats were literally almost hunted out of extinction, but they're doing fine. They're
doing great now. You have 3 shades of them.
But yeah, what's so funny about this is like how stupid human beings have always been. Like, so a lot of this association with the devil and stuff like that came from like the plague and people thinking cats as Satan's allies spread the plague, so they killed cats. But by killing the cats, there was no one to stop the spread of wrath.
Yeah,
that
which
actually
is making it worse.
the Obviously, it is literally the same exact thing people do when they show up to fucking protest mask like wearing nowadays. Yeah. Like it is the same stupid ass behavior that humans have always done.
Question though, why did we pick cats to be Satan?
Where did we come up with that? Did we just make that up? Like, what did the cat do?
I'm saying we're wrong, but like, how did we get there?
Well, of course we're wrong, but cats must have done something.
I didn't know. To be clear, I'm not saying cats did something.
No, I get what you're saying. Like, there must be something to this,
Well, yeah, I mean, so there's a few things to it, right? One, fleas also spread the plague, which cats could carry, right?
Yeah.
So there was an association sort of there that was sort of based in reality, but of course rats made it way worse. There was, I think the fact that like, one of the things that I think makes cats so appealing is that they're sort of like a mischievous, very hard to understand creature, right? They're very interesting and standoffish, and like the sort of one of the things I sort of love about cats opposed to like sort of like dogs, right, is that like dogs are so willing to meet us more than halfway, while cats won't even meet us like a quarter of the way there. Our entire relationship with cats over 12,000 years has been us having to move towards the cats, and the cats barely giving us anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's assume that cats are not the devil. What animal is? What animal do we think is most likely to be working in conjunction with the devil today?
Humans?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's cheating. That's our own image. But who else? What other animal is most likely to be helping the devil?
Goats, certainly.
Goats?
I think definitely you're up to some satanic shit.
Yeah,
a
they
lot
got the
of
horns and the goatee.
But
birds,
I thought
I just inherently don't trust.
I feel like the devil is taking the form of a goat. Like I've never seen like the devil as a goat, but then he has like goat friends. Like I've never seen the goat.
Oh wait, is the devil lonely?
I mean, I do think the devil is kind of lonely.
Yeah,
well, that's fair.
He wasn't looking for a soul to steal. He just wanted to make some friends.
Yeah,
he's like, hey, you want to play the fiddle with me, buddy?
He wants a book club. I would love. I think moths is my guess are one of the most likely to be devil related because they're gross. They love flame, right?
Yeah, but they're so pretty.
They're not pretty. They're horrifying.
They're very pretty. They're the prettiest.
Yeah.
I think moths are so pretty. They're
you
so
like
pretty.
moths?
Yeah, they got beautiful earth tones. They're like kind of crunchy, you know.
All right. Look, man, I'm in favor of rats. You can like your moths.
Earwigs. It's earwigs, guys. It's earwigs.
Earwigs for sure.
Or those fish at the bottom of the ocean. I mean, they're already very close to hell in general.
Whoa.
They have a lamp on their head.
Whoa. I will be clear. The stuff at the bottom of our Earth ocean is way scarier than the devil. I would rather the devil
would not go down
take
there.
me. The devil can have my soul before I would ever go down to the bottom of the ocean to see the freaky stuff down there.
Okay, and I'll just come out on the other side. I'm pro fish in any situation.
Yo, Alex. Fish don't exist.
Yo, fish don't exist.
What?
Y'all need to read the book. Why fish don't exist. It's amazing.
Wait,
fish
is
probably
this
do not
like
exist.
birds are not real type thing? Like birds were
Or is
all
this
birds
like,
were
there's no
replaced by
such thing as a
governments
vegetable?
by satellites in the 1970s?
More like the vegetable. There is a such thing as a vegetable, but no, it's like basically like that. That there's like one. There's like not like there's not like a one thing that is all these fish have this thing. It's like if you go into the anatomy of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So the thing with vegetables is like fruit is a very specific definition. Vegetable is any plant we like that's not fruit. There's no definition of vegetable. There's nothing that is a vegetable, except we just think that's cool.
Okay, then yes, exactly like that.
Deep sea fish, badass. But here's the thing: if deep sea fish are associated with the devil, they're doing a terrible job. We're never there. We're nowhere near them.
Look, you set up shop and you don't realize where the highway is going to be when you set up shop sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they saw like
they got all stoked and excited.
Jacques Cousteau came down and they're like, "Man, people are going to be hitting us up. We're going to be blowing up soon." And then
anytime now, got to franchise it out.
Cameron floats by, but that's it. They got nothing.
Yeah. So what do you do when you get canceled? Right? How do you get your name back in?
For podcast.
Well, yeah, podcast. But the thing is, you're gonna need some help. You're gonna need some help from influencers. So I want to introduce you to the original influencers, Royalty.
Oh my god, that's a beautiful cat queen.
Yeah.
Okay, so that looks like a very good stately looking cat as Queen
Victoria.
Victoria?
Okay. To be, yes. So here's the thing. Everything between before this all the way back to 12,000 years ago, cats were kind of viewed very much the same way, right? They were mostly laborers, pest control. People liked them when they didn't hate them and burn them as witches.
Sure.
But like there wasn't really like a relationship with pets. Again, this is the time when people would have kids to create laborers, right? People didn't take animals in if they weren't going to pit them for work or have them for food, right? It was a very rich, bougie thing that people would look down on if people had pets. But around the 1800s, that's when a society and as a culture sort of started to change towards animals, and a lot of things happened very, very quickly. It's actually kind of amazing how new and how fast the idea of pets got established. So it was like basically, for you know thousand plus years, 10,000 plus years, everything was exactly the same, and then the last 200 things changed. And there's a handful of reasons for that. One, we got to talk about Queen Victoria. So Queen Victoria was born in the early 1800s. She lived in 1891. She was a huge fan of animals. She established the first animal cruelty prevention society. She had dozens of pets. All of her kids had pets. And
she opened that underwear store.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't tell anyone about it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Think about what she's wearing under these 12 layers right here. It was hot. But yeah, this really started to change the way people viewed animals. Right? People started to think of them as part of their families. They would started bringing them in their house. They started spending more time with them. And it wasn't just Queen Victoria. It was a lot of rich people, a lot of affluent, especially women who were stuck kind of in a house and couldn't really go anywhere. They were just on these huge estates. They would sort of take pets in and get photographed with them and tell their friends about them. And, for the common person, that was kind of really looked down upon. Like, people thought this was just so frivolous and wasteful. And I get it, right? If people were starving and royalty is feeding cats nicer food than you, that can be upsetting. But there begins a sort of societal change. There's actually a lot of stuff written about how in the early 1800s, they started promoting families to have their children raise pets so that children would be less psychopaths, essentially. They were like, we have to teach kids. Yeah, we have to teach kids that other things have feelings and that they have to care for things. So pets become this whole idea of something you give your kids pets and then they take care of them and they learn responsibility. They learn to care about something else. They become sort of nicer, sweeter people. So here's some photos and paintings of Queen Victoria's pets. And like I said, a bunch of her family and friends and all their different pets they have.
And if you kind of want to image it, this is just a filter. Just imagine, some I guess cosplay, like steampunk cosplay with a pet, and sort of a sepia filter. That's about right.
Yeah, and also I just do not understand how they got some of the dogs. I understand getting them to sit still for these long ass photos. I do not know how they did that with cats. I'm very impressed that they were able to get.
Okay, you have to be clear. Every one of these pictures, the cat looks like it's trying to get away.
Yeah,
just like every picture I've ever taken with a cat. Every one of these cats is just on the verge of leaving, except for the one cat that is asleep. That's the only one that's chill in a photograph.
And this sort of society starts to change very drastically. A lot of pet culture comes from the UK, which I was very surprised to hear about. Sort of the UK and England pioneered a lot of pet stuff, and then that spread to the States and the rest of the world. But sort of the idea of pets come from England, specifically in the UK at this time. And a lot of sort of big things sort of happened around this. In 1871.
Looks like in one of those.
Oh, what was that?
I was just going to say in one of the paintings, it looks like there's a person that's dressed as a cat in the painting with all the cats. I don't know if y'all noticed that.
Which
in the
cat
painting with the cats, there's a person in there.
Which one?
Wait. I'm seeing it.
You just gotta,
you're want to fuck a cat?
That person, there's literally a person. I'm seeing the person. It's
what
cats,
quadrant?
like the musical cats. Like the center.
Okay.
The center. That's a person.
That's a
the
person.
Front one? The front and center?
If we checked, yep. I'm sure. Yeah. If they CG'd out all the human bits, but yeah, absolutely. That's Judi Dench.
Yeah, so in 1871, we had the first cat show ever in England. Now, this is important because this is essentially TwitchCon of cats, right? This is how cats are going viral. They're popping off.
When you got a con, you're a big deal.
Yeah. So here's the winner of the first ever cat show. I don't know this cat's name. I couldn't find any information
You
on
know
it.
about what I can tell you about this cat? He looks like he's trying to get out of this picture.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's a what's the weird. That's the confusing thing about cats. I think in old pictures is that they look like cats now. This is a cat, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing about
so-
cats is, so when
You're
they
saying
do,
we haven't improved it? We haven't had any new features
Well,
with like
just they haven't
Cat
like
OS 12 is pretty much the same.
the facial hair
No.
of cats is largely the same as where it's not for humans.
that's the thing about cats is, you're right, Alex. They have literally not updated the firmware in 12,000 years. Genetically, cats today are the exact same as the West African cat that came into those holes 12,000 years
Rat
ago.
holes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like all cats, every cat on the planet is descended from the West African cat and is like 90+% genetically identical. Cats have
Interesting.
not changed or evolved really at all in 12,000 years. They are still the same, basically wild animal, and they're just sort of slightly gotten a little bit nicer, slightly more domesticated. But they're almost identical to the cats that we first met 12,000
Crazy.
years ago.
Because we're like inventing new dogs all the time.
Oh yeah, exactly.
They roll out a new like what was it, 10 years ago they figured out the doodle system and like there's new dogs constantly.
The doodle decimal system.
Also in the 1870s, we have Harry Pointer. This guy was the first cat photographer. So this guy pioneered frivolous cat photography. This was him.
how I
We've
feel about
finally
this.
gotten to it. We've met him. We found him.
So all of these photos, his whole thing was cats doing human things. I really like this one of the two dunce
cats wearing
hats.
dunce caps.
Yeah.
They've been bad.
I don't know how I feel about this. These feels like, I don't know, like, you know how cats don't want to be in those photos? These cats really don't seem like they want to be in these photos. They're like wearing like little like kid clothes. They're playing hopscotch with I think like looks like Megan like 1.0, I guess.
You mean just a normal doll?
Well, yeah, I said what I said.
M1gun.
Mwangan.
And then you get to 1903. You have the sick kitten, which was the very first cat video. It was a video of someone feeding a sick kitten medicine.
Did it get better? Is it good now?
Well, I think the cat is dead by now. I think it's
sure?
2023.
It's
Yeah, I don't think the
1903.
cat is,
Some
I
cats
sure?
live a long time.
It's,
Though.
Yeah.
It got medicine though.
I've known some really old cats.
This cat is in its late 120s.
yeah.
That looks like it might be a person wearing a cat suit. But...
I mean, yeah, this cat does look like an AI generated cat. This does not look like a real cat face to me.
Honestly, the other one didn't look like this, but this one does kind of look like there's a guy in there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a guy in there, pretty much for all of them.
But you know, and sort of at the turn of the 20th century, urbanization is starting to take off. People are moving to suburbs. People are moving into major cities, and they're bringing pets with them. But what was amazing to me, there's sort of one last major piece that had to fall into place for cats to truly take off. And this kind of blew my mind when I learned about it. But you know, up until this point, cats were mostly outdoor animals who would come in occasionally to get fed, but they were very hard to keep in your house. And the reason why was because no one had invented kitty litter yet. Until 1947, Edward Lowe invented kitty litter.
The Lowe's Home Improvement Company?
No, this is a different Lowe.
Darn it!
Really?
The logo looks similar.
Yeah, the logo does
Had
kind of
two
look
things
the
he
same.
liked: litter
Yeah.
and home improvement.
Okay, so what happened was, up until this point, people would have cats, you know, use the restroom in their house in litter boxes. Like, the idea of a litter box was a thing. It wasn't called a litter box yet. It was just called a shit box, essentially. But people would use dirt or
It's an improvement on
sand.
the name, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would use like
Essentially.
sand or whatever they could
I
find.
think it is a shit box.
Yeah, basically, it's what it was, right? It's what it still is. And you know, people would just go to the beach or wherever and get sand, and they would have to carry it back themselves, and they would use it. But the problem is, it didn't do anything for the smell. It made it so cats tracked sand and dirt, or a very popular one was because everyone had wood fireplaces. You would just pull the ash out of your fireplace and scoop it in a box, and then go, okay, cat shit in that. And that would obviously make a huge mess through your house because the cats are stepping in piss-covered ash and
Oh, that's
dragging it
awful.
everywhere, right?
Okay, question though. Why do cats, like, how why are they just like, sure, I'll poop there? Like, how is it that
Well, it's
you can't tell a cat to do
evolutionary-wise, it's
anything
very
you
smart.
want?
Yeah. Well, instinctually, they want to bury their poop or their piss so that predators can't find them. Right? That's why cats do it. That's why cats
That's a good
instinctually
answer.
want to bury their waste, right? So that's why they do that out in nature, because they do the same thing outdoor cats, wild cats. They all do the same exact thing, but they bury their waste, or
it's kind of rugged if you think about it. You know, it's kind of like a rugged, like they're like spies. You know, they're like out here, like they're like on a mission.
Whenever a cat walks through the snow, it has an instinct to grab a branch and sweep behind it. So you don't see its little footprint.
It also automatically knows where the blind spots are on every camera, and it waits for like the. It knows, it really is good at detecting like the guard patterns as well, shift changes.
They're kind of secret agents.
Shift changes. That's
cats
a great thing about
also
cats.
exclusively walk in single file to hide their
you know? Always step each other's footprints. But can't shoot straight though. Terrible shot.
The story of kitty litter is actually pretty interesting. So like I said, he was like a supply seller. He had a neighbor come over one day and be like, "Oh my God, my cat keeps shitting in my ash and it's such a mess. I hate it." And he was like, "Well, a clay supplier had just came by and dropped off a sample of clay that he had no intention of buying more of. So he said, 'Hey, try this clay.' And the guy went, used the clay, came back the next day. It's like, 'Oh my God, it's a fucking game changer, dude. I need more of that clay. I need that clay for my cat to shit in.'" And Edward Lowe was like, "Oh my God, there's a business in this." And it's crazy. It sounds like it would have been an immediate hit, but it wasn't. It took him so long to get kitty litter to become a thing. He would go around, he would go to cat shows, and he would offer to like set up a booth. He would offer to go around and do all the kitty litter of all the cats at the cat show, because he would just would talk about how much cat shows used to smell awful. Until, again, the first cat show was in the 1800s, and it wasn't until the 1940s that cat shows didn't smell like absolute death, right?
Wow.
Because it would just be
in the 1800s. The average smell was also worse.
Yeah. So like, how bad did it smell? Because generally everyone was like a pro at smelling bad stuff all the time.
That's true.
Yeah. If your streets are full of human poo,
the
fact that there's cat poo at the cat show, probably not the worst thing.
For all you know, actually, the cat show was like a nice smelling place you could go.
Yeah. You get a cleaner animal. Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point. But this did take off, obviously. And what this did was this allowed for indoor cats to really become a thing, right? And this is what allowed cats to really take off in viralness and get billions of views, baby.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about now. Cats,
billions.
The stage is ready.
We had all the pieces in place. Now it was finally time to invent the internet.
Yes. But yeah, in 2006, Puppy vs. Cat was uploaded to YouTube. You can tell it was 2006 because there wasn't a lot of pixels to go around in 2006.
Yeah, really.
That's why the picture is so blurry.
Here's what's happened: is there's it looks like 7 golden retriever puppies walking down a hallway and one cat holding its ground, not letting them pass. It's a classic. You shall not pass, and all the puppies would like to pass, and they can't.
Well, you got to think, one, it's like a pack animal versus a solitary animal. Cats are big believers in the castle doctrine. So, like, if you come into their house, they're going to fucking put you down.
They definitely have that right.
So this
eventually
right here,
the dogs get the courage up to come near it, but okay. In the end, a full-size golden retriever does show up,
and then a human picks up the cat,
and the human takes the cat away.
I love that this video.
I've never seen that.
Yeah,
it's good history.
Still gets a ton of views, even though it's only 240p. I think is like the highest.
We just gave it 2 more.
Yeah. But yeah, this was the very first cat video uploaded on the internet.
Amazing.
Obviously, cats had been a part of the internet since the beginning. They are often referred to as like an essential building block. Cat memes are very popular in emails in the early internet. You have a lot of like early meme sites dedicated to cats. But
I like that this, though, the first ever cat video is still also a dog video. That the rivalry has already begun in May of 2006.
Yep.
But once this got uploaded, right, the floodgates open, and we get to the age of the celebrity cat, right? So we have Grumpy Cat, obviously.
Oh,
He has met
Grumpy Cat.
so many celebrities. Here's a
That's a
picture of
great
him with
cat.
Stan Lee.
Yeah.
There are
Aw.
so many
Stanley's making a
photos.
little cameo in this Grumpy
Yeah.
Cat photo.
Yeah, it made a little
Yeah.
grump face.
But yeah, Grumpy Cat, fucking. I mean, this is when we go from like all the like using cats for labor for a little bit to kind of help us really pays off, because at this point these cats are making people millionaires, literally.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Well,
like,
and also it's interesting as a shift though. This is not just cats generally. This is like love of an individual cat that you want to like actually more
Yeah.
of. Like this one
Yeah.
cat.
There's a
is the
lot of
cat.
personality on this cat's face.
yeah, they become celebrities, right? So Grumpy Cat, you have little Bubs, he's just out here trying his best.
Little Bubs
Bubs.
is the one where his tongue is broken and
Yes.
sticks out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has a genetic issue that causes him to make that. But
This is
also
great.
he's going to Animal Planet's Puppy Bowl. You have
Aw.
Muru, who's the most subscribed
Yeah, that was the cat
Japanese
that I
cat.
knew.
He's
I
the
knew
most
Muru.
subscribed cat on the internet.
Yeah.
And then of course we have, you know, all the cat memes that are out there.
Yeah, of course. This cat is half Pop-Tart.
Yeah, Nyan Cat, cats, you know, fucking around with computers, all this
Yeah.
stuff. Starting in around 20, I think it was 2016, the first cat video festival was announced, and these happen all over the world. Here's literally a photo of people in a stadium watching cat videos.
That's pretty rad.
It's the best place to watch
Imagine
it.
way
The
too many people.
energy.
And
Yeah.
they're very excited about this cat thing.
Yeah, I always like to watch a cat video opening night because I like the energy of everyone
But
being
you
around.
don't want to get spoiled, right? That's the thing. Is
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you just, if you don't see the cat video opening night, you gotta stay off Twitter until you
Listen,
see it.
they make them for the big screen. Okay.
They really. Maru's vision
Yeah.
involved that extra space. If you're cutting it down for YouTube, you're not getting the full vision.
No.
Also, I want to show Anthony. Will you show that other photo to the left a little bit? One more, because I think Hunter. I think there might be a person in there.
I think there's some people in that cat.
I'm not.
Yeah.
This is just
people
cats,
who
I
are-
can't tell.
These are cats cosplaying as people or people cosplaying as cats. It's hard to know.
It's hard to know which one's
Very
which.
hard to determine.
Yeah. It's very good job, everybody.
Let me give you some facts. It is estimated 15% of all internet traffic involves cats. I do not believe that fact.
Do you
I
think
saw
it's
that.
higher or lower?
I think that's way too high. I think 15%. That's just far too much.
I don't know.
It's a pretty smart number for my brain, at least.
Well,
I'm willing to buy
It
it.
includes maybe like cat scans or like maybe like things that are like.
I don't think those are that big. I think that's kind of a negligible addition.
Well, you
It could be like
I think
cat
helps.
business stuff. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of the tractor trailer company.
Yeah,
cat.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of-
I mean, I could be.
cat category.
I just 15%. That's a lot of percentage of all internet traffic.
One. It's like it's like one out of every 7 internets.
I
Yeah.
feel like when you boil the internet down, there's only like a few things that
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
about, you know? So cats is one of that.
There are over 6.5 billion images of cats that exist on the internet. That I do believe.
I've
Yeah, it
seen
seems
all
low
of them.
even.
Yeah, there are tens of millions of cat videos on YouTube alone. This is something else I think is really interesting, is that in our sort of digital hellscape we live in, cat videos are at the forefront of every new streaming service and platform, right?
Absolutely.
Like TikTok, if it didn't have cat videos, would not be TikTok. Facebook, if it didn't have cat videos, would not be Facebook, right? Cat videos have helped the start and spread. The fact that like a cat video was one of the first viral videos on YouTube, if it wasn't for cats, like I really do wonder the impact that all of these networks and streaming services would even have, you know?
It's very easy to draw a direct line from the rise of the cat video to the alt-right.
And then sort of the final thing I wanted to do was this very interesting report I found that kind of blew my mind, and that was that dogs are actually much more popular than cats on
Not
the
even
internet.
close.
Whoa.
So if you look here, if you compare it to YouTube videos mentioning dogs versus cats, dogs win. Google Trends, dogs are far more searched. The biggest cats on Facebook have nothing compared to Boo the dog on Facebook. Instagram.
I saw that
is
this
way
research
more
was on here,
views.
but I didn't spoil it for myself. I am disappointed to learn this.
Yeah, it's weird, right? When you look at the herd numbers, of the fact that dogs are far more searched and viewed and present on the internet. It is odd that cats are the default, right? Of like,
I would also say that, but if you look at this, if you look at these graphics, a dog. So for example, on Instagram, dogs get 150 million searches, cats get 120 million. But if you look at the graphic, I would say a cat is about 120, 146ths of a dog. Like, I think proportional to their size, this seems correct.
Also, I'll put in this, I guess. So like dog versus cat searches, absolutely like of the whole thing. But if you look at just like dog videos versus cat videos, it's still it's actually quite a bit closer. You know, it's like it's not like a knockout. So like maybe people want more dogs to have in their homes, but I think in terms of like it's less of a knockout for like I would watch both. I guess.
What do you think explains that spike there? I don't know if you're seeing that.
Oh yeah, there's a big blue spike. So I think that is Stampy Cat, I believe, is what I saw.
Okay.
Wait, actually, no, sorry, it's a different thing. No, I don't know. This is whatever happened. Something happened with cats. October 2019. Someone.
Wow.
Yeah, people got real into cats then. I'm not sure what it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This is something I should keep better track of. Just
there's the big cat chatter in October 2019, guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for that incredible presentation on the history of cat videos.
Oh my gosh, so good.